Welcome, seekers of ancient truths and untold stories. Prepare yourselves because today we're venturing into the uncharted territories of the most sacred text ever penned. Forget what you think you know about the Bible, because we're about to unearth 9 verses so baffling, so utterly bizarre, they'll challenge your perceptions and ignite your curiosity. If you love unraveling mysteries and peering into the profound depths of history, hit that like button right now and subscribe to our channel, because you won't want to miss what we uncover next. For centuries, scholars, theologians, and casual readers alike have grappled with passages in the Bible that seem to defy logic, raise more questions than answers, and sometimes even send a shiver down the spine. We're talking about verses that speak of giants with 6 fingers, talking donkeys, and celestial beings locked in wrestling matches. These aren't the comforting parables you heard in Sunday school. These are the enigmatic riddles etched into the ancient scrolls, waiting for us to decode them. Are they mistranslations? Vestiges of forgotten cultures? Or do they hold profound, often overlooked spiritual truths? Get ready, because the answers might surprise you. Our journey begins not with fire and brimstone, but with a peculiar fashion statement. Imagine, if you will, the prophet Isaiah, one of the most revered figures in biblical history. Now, imagine him walking around, naked and barefoot for 3 years. Yes, you heard that right. Isaiah chapter 20, verses 2 through 3 states, "At that time the Lord spoke through Isaiah, son of Amoz. He said to him, 'Go, take off the sackcloth from your body and the sandals from your feet.' And he did so, going around naked and barefoot. Then the Lord said, 'Just as my servant Isaiah has gone unclothed and barefoot for 3 years, a sign and portent against Egypt and Cush.'" What in the world was going on? Was this a divinely sanctioned streaking incident? Not quite. In the ancient Near East, going partially clothed or naked was a powerful, albeit shocking, prophetic act. It symbolized utter humiliation, the fate awaiting captives taken in war. Isaiah's stark public display was a living, breathing sermon, a visceral warning to Judah about the impending defeat and exile of their allies, Egypt and Cush, at the hands of the Assyrians. It was a prophecy so dramatic, so unforgettable, it would have been seared into the minds of everyone who witnessed it. A humbling, literally stripped-down message of impending doom. From public nudity, we pivot to a tale that seems straight out of a fantasy novel. Picture this: a talking donkey. Not just any talking donkey, but one that sees an angel invisible to its master and saves his life. This is the story of Balaam and his ass in Numbers chapter 22. Balaam, a pagan prophet, is hired by King Balak of Moab to curse the Israelites. As Balaam rides, his donkey suddenly stops, refusing to move. Balaam beats it 3 times, and then the donkey speaks. "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" Numbers 22:28. Balaam then argues with the donkey before his eyes are opened, and he sees the angel of the Lord standing in their path with a drawn sword. This isn't just a quirky animal story, it's a profound statement about divine intervention and revelation. The all-seeing God can even use the humblest of creatures to convey his will, to open the eyes of those blinded by ambition or stubbornness. It highlights that God's ways are often unconventional, and his messengers can come from the most unexpected places. It also serves as a subtle rebuke to Balaam's spiritual blindness. Even his animal could perceive God's presence before he could. Now, let's delve into a truly mind-bending passage that has sparked countless debates and even wild conspiracy theories. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 4. It speaks of a time when the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. Who exactly were these sons of God? And who were the Nephilim, these heroes of old? The most dramatic interpretation suggests that these sons of God were fallen angels, divine beings who descended to earth, cohabited with human women, and produced a hybrid race of giants or super beings, the Nephilim. This interpretation, held by early Jewish and Christian tradition, paints a picture of a pre-flood world corrupted by a cosmic transgression, a merging of the spiritual and physical realms that led to widespread wickedness. Other interpretations suggest the sons of God were merely human rulers or righteous descendants of Seth, but the idea of angelic human offspring adds an undeniable layer of ancient myth and cosmic drama, hinting at a world far more mysterious than we often imagine. Speaking of giants, our next verse takes us to a physical anomaly that beggars belief. 1 Chronicles chapter 20 verse 6 describes a massive Philistine warrior, a descendant of Rapha, who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in all. This isn't just a literary flourish. This is a clear description of polydactyly, a genetic condition where a person is born with extra fingers or toes. While rare, it's a real phenomenon. The inclusion of such a specific detail in the biblical narrative serves a purpose. It emphasizes the extraordinary nature of David's warriors. These were not ordinary men fighting ordinary foes. They were facing truly formidable adversaries, some of whom possessed unusual, even monstrous, physical characteristics. It elevates the bravery and divine favor on those who ultimately defeated these seemingly invincible foes, demonstrating that with God, even the most daunting giants, whether literal or metaphorical, can be overcome. Have you ever heard of God regretting something? It's a concept that seems to clash with the idea of an omniscient, unchanging deity. Yet, in Genesis chapter 6, verse 6, preceding the flood narrative, it states, "The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled." How can an all-knowing God regret? Does God change his mind? This verse has puzzled theologians for centuries. The Hebrew word nacham, translated as regretted or grieved, often carries the nuance of to be sorry, to suffer, or to be moved to pity. It doesn't necessarily imply a change in divine knowledge or purpose, but rather an expression of God's profound emotional response to humanity's pervasive wickedness. It's an anthropomorphic expression, attributing human emotions to God to help us comprehend the depth of his sorrow and righteous anger. It emphasizes the severity of human sin and the divine heartache it caused, underscoring the tragic necessity. From divine emotion, let's journey to a truly bizarre and often misunderstood ritual, the jealousy offering in Numbers chapter 5. This passage details a process for a husband to test his wife's fidelity if he suspects her of adultery but lacks proof. The priest would have the woman drink bitter water that brings a curse, a concoction of holy water mixed with dust from the tabernacle floor, along with unraveled hair and an oath. If she was guilty, her abdomen would swell and her thigh would rot. If innocent, she would be cleared and able to conceive. This sounds incredibly archaic and even cruel to modern ears. However, its purpose was primarily deterrent and, surprisingly, offered a legal avenue for women to clear their names in a patriarchal society without concrete evidence. It wasn't a physical poison, it was believed to be a psycho-spiritual ordeal where the divine curse would manifest physically if guilt was present. It put the judgment squarely in God's hands, preventing mob rule or biased human judgment based solely on suspicion. It was a symbolic ritual, a reflection of the profound importance placed on fidelity and the sanctity of marriage in ancient Israel. Our seventh strange verse takes us to the prophet Ezekiel, a man whose visions were often as terrifying as they were profound. In Ezekiel chapter 4, verses 12 to 15, God gives Ezekiel a peculiar command as a symbolic act to illustrate the coming siege of Jerusalem. "Eat the food as you would a barley cake, prepare it in the sight of the people, using human excrement for fuel." "No, sovereign Lord," I said, I have never defiled myself." So he said to me, "Very well, I will let you use cow manure instead of human excrement for fuel to prepare your food." The original command was to cook food over human waste. This is perhaps one of the most disgusting and shocking commands in all Scripture. Why? This repulsive act was meant to vividly portray the extreme conditions of the coming siege of Jerusalem. The people would be so desperate for food and fuel that they would resort to unsanitary and defiling practices. Ezekiel's protest and God's concession to cow manure, which was a common fuel source in the ancient Near East, highlight both the prophet's obedience and God's mercy, even amidst such stark prophetic imagery. It underscores the utter degradation and desperation that would accompany the city's destruction. Next, we encounter a moment of intense physical struggle between a patriarch and a divine being. Genesis chapter 32, verses 24-28, describes Jacob wrestling with a mysterious figure all night long until daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Who was this man or angel that Jacob wrestled? The text says Jacob wrestled with God or an angel, Hosea 12:4. This isn't just a physical brawl, it's a profound spiritual encounter. Jacob, whose name means deceiver or supplanter, had spent his life struggling and scheming. This all-night wrestling match symbolizes his lifelong struggle with God, with his past, and with himself. The hip injury he sustained left him with a permanent limp, a physical reminder of his encounter and his transformation. He received a new name, Israel, meaning struggles with God, signifying his new identity and his new relationship with the divine. It's a powerful metaphor for our own struggles of faith, our moments of wrestling with doubt, and the transformative power that comes from truly encountering the divine. Finally, we arrive at a verse that seems to contradict itself, a theological paradox that has spurred endless contemplation. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5 states, "For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten." This passage, particularly the phrase, "the dead know nothing," has been used to argue against the concept of an immortal soul or an afterlife. However, it's crucial to understand the context of Ecclesiastes. The preacher, the author, is exploring life under the sun from a purely human, earthly perspective, devoid of divine revelation about the afterlife. From this limited perspective, death appears to be an absolute end, where human knowledge and endeavor cease. The book's overarching message isn't to deny an afterlife, but to highlight the vanity and futility of seeking ultimate meaning solely in earthly pursuits and wisdom. It drives the reader to the conclusion found later in the book, that true meaning and purpose are found in fearing God and keeping His commandments, rather than in the ephemeral pursuits of human existence. It's a deliberate intellectual exercise that builds a case for futility only to present the ultimate divine solution. There you have them, 9 verses that challenge, provoke, and reveal the incredible depth and complexity of the biblical narrative. Far from being random oddities, each of these passages, when peeled back and examined within their historical, cultural, and theological contexts, offers profound insights into ancient life, divine communication, and the enduring questions of faith and humanity. What do you think? Were there any verses that surprised you the most? Do you have a favorite strange Bible verse that we didn't cover today? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We love hearing from you and seeing the insightful discussions that unfold. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Bible's mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into biblical history. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the incredible tapestry of ancient wisdom.